Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, and Shinrin-yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesdays, December 22nd, 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 2020. Did you know that we're on Parler, and Rumble, and BitChute, and Library? Well, now you do. The big story, winter storm watch, snow coming for Christmas. Keep calm. It's boom time. Power outages reported as wind gusts top 100 miles per hour in south central Alaska storm. And that is tonight's first boom. Hello. A gust of 112 miles per hour was reported early Tuesday in the Bear Valley area of South Anchorage. Holy macaroni. And they're just getting started. Storm update, southward shift in the Twin Cities models. Snowfall totals increasing. Yes, Minnesota, say it ain't soda. We'll check the models in a minute. White Christmas looking likely for much of the Michigan. Classic lake effect snow pattern expected for Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, and you will be buried as Santa comes down the chimney. Ho, ho, ho. Temperatures plunge for Christmas as Santa brings cold front to Texas, the nexus of the schmexus, 34, Christmas Eve. Let's check the models. Here we are at the GFS, and it's looking snowy. Here's your Wednesday, December 23rd. That storm is going to be taking shape up in the north. The storm that dumped down in the northwest the other night, bringing heavy snows, are going to be bringing snows to most of the states in the northern tier. Heaviest snow in South Dakota, Nebraska there, and then Minnesota. Say it ain't soda. There are dozens of counties that are in blizzard warning currently, and we're going to get to that, up to 12 to 16 inches of high winds and blowing snow. But check the northeast out here. It's going to start as low as Alabama down there, and maybe a little bit in Georgia, but most of West Virginia is going to have quite the impressive Christmas Day. This is Christmas Day we're looking at here. Christmas Day, eastern Ohio is going to have quite the white Christmas. The entire Erie Lake region, heavy lake effect snow, probably a foot or more, to more snow as you move north in Lake Erie. New York State, the same. There's going to be huge pockets of 2 and 3 feet of snow off of Ontario there, easily, in the St. Lawrence Valley. So, huge amounts of snow Christmas Day, the day after, and the day after that. And the snow will continue in the northeast, Maine even picking up some snow before the end of December. And then that pattern at the end of December bringing snow all the way through the west, all the way down the Sierras, all the way down to the southern tips of Cali, even in to Cabo and parts of Mexico, So, and we're just entering winter here, and it looks like potentially in the first week of January, heavy southern event here, and so we'll keep a close eye on that, shall we? Now let's check out the next iguana apocalypse. This is going to be Christmas night, December 25th going into the 26th. And we could see an iguana apocalypse and lots of iguana meat going up for sale on eBay on the 27th. So take heed, protect your plants in the panhandle. It will be cold and well below freezing. Let's check out weather.gov. Impactful weather expected in Alaska. We just talked about that. Quite impactful. And the lower 48. High winds, snow, and wind chills to minus 55 degrees can be expected for large segments of Alaska through midweek. In the contiguous states, a powerful cold front will bring widespread high winds, critical fire weather threats to Southern California, heavy snow and blowing snow to the upper Midwest, and heavy lake effect snow on Thursday. Heavy rain and severe storm potential moves into the east. Take a look at the blizzard warnings in 1, 2, 3 states, and right on that say it ain't soda state line. North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota. Say it ain't soda. Blizzard warnings in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 40 counties. Hello. And it's coming for you, Michigan. It's coming. Click on weather.gov or just click and come to this map and click on a county to see how buried and fluxed you actually are. Here we are in Europe. And Greta's boyhood home looks like they're taking on at least 1/3 of a meter of snow in most of the country by the end of December. The UK is going to have a white Christmas in many regions. There you go in the north. And the Alps and Europe is going to be picking up some heavy snow, including, take a look at these models. southern Portugal with over a meter, and Spain, it's insane, as well as northern Afrique. And the totals here in the Alps are mind-bending. It's looking like 3 to 6 feet in many regions into the first week of January, all the way down the crest of Italia, and so on and so forth. So, ho, 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 to the white Christmas that many of you will be experiencing. Unprecedented December freeze engulfs Russia, Asia, Alaska, Canada, and Australia, sending global temperatures plummeting, and the mainstream media barely reporting on it anywhere. It's hard to find this information. We're talking Russia, Southern Asia, record colds, the models I just showed you with heavy snow. Take a look at the GFS 2-meter temperature anomaly here. It is actually cold in the summer in Australia. What say you, Giles? Strong earthquake in Bardabunga volcano. And we'll get to that. And there we are. This is coming yesterday. Strong earthquake happening in Bardabunga. And there's the boom right below the ice sheet there. There's the Caldera. And this has been ongoing since about 2010. So nothing real spectacular here. No information, no predictions of eruption here. But we're watching it closely for you. Seismic update. No major uptick in seismicity due to the Grand Conjunction. It seems like this is all has been relegated to the volcanic activity, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But we do have some interesting seismic tremor coming from my home state here of Colorado and Segundo, actually disgusting frac quakes. And if you just bear with me, let's just bring this in so I can show you how simple it is to locate if it is a frac quake. And in this case, there is unprecedented fracking in the middle of nowhere here. And when you go to do a quick geophysical investigation of the nature and the type of earthquake, and I'm panning up on this using satellite, and I'm like, oh, this is an amazing electrical dendritic pattern here, pretty fantastic up here in just north of me. And then you start to see these little dots, and you're like, what are all these roads and dots going to? And in the middle of nowhere, in the national forest, all of these roads and those little circles are frac pads. That's how fracked we are. Absolutely disturbing. I hope you're disturbed. There are a few other quakes of note, if you'll bear with me. We've just had this mid-ocean ridge activity kicking off here, 5.8 in the Pacific Ridge. We had mid-ocean ridge activity above Iceland, above Bardabunga, after the Bardabunga quake, which has just been released from the map. We've had some activity up in Japan here, but nothing spectacular. So we're going to get to space weather in a second. Halemau lava lake continues to rise as 2 vents feed its lava. If you watched the video yesterday, we have some stunning details coming out today. And I think you'll be, very interested to hear what we have to say. Now, scientists continue to monitor the eruption at Kilauea's volcano summit Caldera, where lava lake has now filled the bottom of Halemau crater, doubling the depth of the water lake that was filling for 2 years since the last eruption back in 2018. As of early this morning, U.S. Geological Survey scientists calculated that more than 2 billion gallons of lava has erupted in less than 48 hours, or a surface area of roughly 33 acres. And now that's a blister that really popped, so that's good news. The lake rose just 9.8 feet in just 3 hours. Spectacular, especially at the depth it currently holds. The lake is now 1,598 feet below the crater rim, but that indicates the lake has filled 440 feet of the bottom of the crater. So it's only a matter of time until the whole crater is filled with lava. But the potential for that is almost zero. All the water in the lake has evaporated. So huge developments coming, massive and spectacular lava flows now filling the caldera to a depth of 440 feet of lava, 33 acres on the surface. Worldwide volcano news update. We have some increased activity continuing worldwide, and that includes some spectacular things that Etna has had its 3rd paroxysm since the Etna eruption. And Kilauea, we talked about the ongoing lake. Now, Shibalush had a spectacular 28,000 stratospheric capping eruption 24 hours ago. And I don't know if there's any footage here, but let's see if we can see there. Swanos Hema, intense strombolian activity is continuing. Etna, that was the second paroxysm. And here is the eruption from Chevaluche. And you can see that top plume capping out at the stratospheric boundary. So that is one of the biggest booms in quite some time from Chevaluche. And let's talk about Ruapehu. Ruapehu volcano, North Island of New Zealand, the southern part of the North Island, right there where the arrow is. Boom. Now, this baby has been active, ongoing for hundreds of years and has the potential for VEI4 and really to screw up some of the lives in the part of this island. Now, the central vent and the north vent you can see underneath of the lake here. And what we have is heating over 40 degrees C. Temperatures have been rising and are now at 43 degrees C during a gas flight last week. So they've increased the warnings here, and also the largest measured SO2 and HSS2 in the past 20 years. So real quickly, let's come over and see some of the activity at Ruapehu. And Ruapehu, there you can see the volcano itself. It is a stratovolcano. And let's see what the typical eruptive style is. Mildly explosive in formation of lahars, which these are huge mud flows that take out entire populations along river valleys. It's been consistently erupting at VEI1 in 2007, 2006, a VEI1 in 1997, then a VEI3 in 96, which should give us pause. But that is not the potential for this volcano. In fact, there is historical VEI3 and 4 activity quite some time ago. And so anything is possible in such a giant volcano in such a unique time on planet Earth. So take heed. Goes X-ray flux showing limited activity on the sun, very minimum sun, nothing to write home about. Discover solar wind. This is that northern coronal hole that we thought might affect seismic activity. It has come through now about 28 hours ago. And the phi angle has not stayed at 180 for any long period of time to kick off a major seismic event. So we're waiting for it maybe to stabilize in the 180 or maybe another bump up here in the coming few hours. So nothing to report on except increased solar wind. The only spot on the sun you're looking at here, this is a live HMI continuum updated just an hour ago. And so with a single sunspot like that and no other mixing here, this is probably still classified as alpha, and there's no flaring like we just showed you. All is quiet on the GOES X-ray flux. Now let's talk about some milk. No cows required milk. It sounds absolutely vile, but we also talked about biological meat grown in some type of a reactor that they're trying to push on you. All this is processed food, by the way. It's not something that you want to eat. It's not actually food. It's processed food. It's something that you can survive on, period. It's not what you should be putting in your body. Fresh fruits and vegetables, number one. Fresh sources of clean, structured water coming directly from the Continental Divide, potentially, or a spring, and meats that you know where they came from, period. Now, this startup's lab-grown milk is identical, they say, to the real thing, except it doesn't come from an animal. So it doesn't have any of those probiotics, and it is not identical. It may be identical, well, it's not identical. It's simply a ruse to sell you on more processed garbage that comes from a laboratory. Ancient wolf cub found perfectly preserved in Canadian permafrost. And they even know what it ate. It ate a piece of this giant, I don't even remember. Yeah, there it is. The woolly rhino was the last piece of food in its mouth. Now, the woolly rhino went extinct 14,000 years ago. And this type of wolf, even earlier than that, because they're dating this baby back to 57,000 years ago. Perfectly preserved wolf pup. It's really tiny. It's like this big. So don't let those pictures get you go crazy. Now, this is a Alaskan gold miner, I believe, blasting away the frozen permafrost to look for gold nuggets that were deposited during the last several cosmic catastrophes to affect Earth. And this one, 57,000 years ago, probably came from the Vostok or earlier, from a major magnetic reversal 60,000 years ago or earlier. Now, a matter of great concern that we want to talk about is microplastics being found in the placentas of pregnant women for the first time. If you wonder why infertility is on the rise, this has everything to do with it. If you wonder why gender identity is now a thing, it's because of all the plastics and all the chemicals we've been consuming since the 1950s are making everyone transgender, basically. We've proven this scientifically when we see frogs with multiple sexes. So the same thing is happening to humans. It's not natural. It's not normal. It has everything to do with crony capitalism and the destruction of the planet and the poisoning of humanity. But I digress. So let me just quote you here. It's like having a cyborg baby, no longer composed only of human cells, but a mixture of a biological entity and plastic, for fuck's sake. Now, scientists have described the discovery of microplastics in the placentas of new mothers as a matter of great concern, after new research identified a range of synthetic substances from relatively small tissue samples. Absolutely horrifying. But what else do you expect? It's 2020. Overdose deaths outnumber COVID-19 deaths more than 3-1 in San Francisco, where they claim that the hospitals are being overrun by this pandemic. How come we aren't shutting down the world because of opioids, I wonder? This is atrocious. Do you know what's in the COVID relief bill? Congress crams language to criminalize online streaming and even meme sharing into the 5,500-page omnibus piece of nonsense that politicians had 2 hours to read before they voted on it. Are you being represented? No. No one gives a who you are. All they care about is who's paying them. And in fact, a 10-year in prison for illegal streaming is possible according to this bill. It's in the COVID-19 relief bill. Nobody cares. You've been bought and paid for, by the way. And another thing, Arctic sea ice extent is the 5th highest in 5 years. It's the highest in 5 years. I don't see any articles coming out of CNN on that one. And many of you have been sending me this article or something similar. Maverick astrophysicist calls for unusually intense solar cycle, straying from the consensus view. Well, let me tell you this. All the last solar cycle predictions, 99 out of 100 of them were incorrect. The only one that nailed it was Zarkova. So who cares what this guy says? But for you, I will break it down in the fact that that the prediction up here is total nonsense. And if we just go through the observational science like any paleoclimatologist would do, I want to see the proxy data. And in this case, it's not even proxy. It's the sunspot data. And see where this guy is coming from. Because does he even have a limb to stand on? The maverick astrophysicist. Look at this, 2 different titles. Wow, they just cut and paste and get paid. Well, let's take a look at the last 1, 2, 3, 4 solar cycles in the last solar cycle comparison chart. And if you come to the left side here, this is the beginning of the solar cycle, and the right side is the end. You're going to see that each solar cycle begins with a certain amount of sunspots on the sun. Now, the highest cycle that we've had in the last 4 began at the highest point in sunspots here, at 18 sunspots on average per day. See that? And it was the highest cycle. The second highest cycle came in here at the second highest number, at about 12 or 13 sunspots per day, at the minimum. And that was the second highest cycle. The third highest cycle here, the red, came in, look, in third. Now we have a pattern, and the smallest cycle came in at the lowest here with just 2 sunspots per day on average, or week, however they measure this. It's not important. What's important is the statistics we just looked at, that the entry point is directly correlative to the peak point and also the ending point. It's all pretty similar. The only difference here in the ending point is the second and the third largest cycle, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how high they get after they start. Now, solar cycle 25 started way down here at the same level as 24. So based on the last 4 solar cycles, odds of this getting above red are 0. And odds of these predictions coming true are 0. Based on the last 4 cycles. So I just want to go back. Let's go all the way back to 1700. Where we can locate all of the lowest entry-level point solar cycles. Here, very low, almost 0 sunspots. The highest it got was 62 sunspots. What does that mean? 62 is right here, which would be lower than 24. Okay, let's bring it back. Here's another low sunspot. 45 sunspots after that. No. And here, another low, followed by 65 sunspots. Not worried. Here's another low one, followed by another 62 sunspots. Here's a really low one. Look, it spiked up to 105. That's the highest a cycle ever got starting at this level. 105, which would still be less than 24. So based on all known historical sunspot data ever collected, all the way back to Benjamin Franklin, why a scientist would publish this is beyond anyone's guess, except to get paid or to get views. But it's not based on facts. It's not based on solar science. It's not based on statistics. It's not based on patterns. It's not based on anything. Period. And that's my 2 cents. Neptune's weird dark spot just got weirder. It reversed. Is this a sign we're entering that galactic cosmic wave that Ben Davidson and I talk about? Many others. We're looking for a mechanism that caused a periodic episodic catastrophe on Earth that's been happening for all of geologic history. And the Milankovitch cycle is not it. This one could be it. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that because it's as far away as Neptune, which is not that close, by the way. Now, a mysterious crop circle symbol appears at the bottom of a draining blue lake in Croatia. And the only problem is that this is not aliens. This lake dries up all the time. There's a huge festival that happens up here, and you do the math. I hate sources like Mr. BBB and Strange Sounds and all the other dards that get views by lying to you. I don't know what it is. Could be aliens. I don't know. Could be a bunch of drunk footballers scraping lines into the ground. Who knows? Anybody's guess. Now, if you're sick of searching and people watching what you're doing, do you know about disroot.org? Yeah, it's not in America, thank God. But you can search. SearX or SearchX is a search engine that is not beholden to anyone. It's top quality ever. This is an anonymous multi-search engine platform I recommend everyone to use. I didn't want to give out my secrets, but my electrician uses this email, and they have integrated email and other things like cloud storage that you can use that is protected from Big Brother, from another mother. So, and we don't want people listening to what we're typing and what we're watching, which is why I use Gmail and Google, because I need them to know what I'm doing, because I want to be transparent. But you guys, if you're sending me secret shit, please use Disroot. Use Disroot for your search engine, use it for your email, and use it for peace of mind. I didn't get paid a penny for that. I'm just telling you how to do it without them watching. Now, another way to do it without them watching is to get off that fake book and that scam tube. I need to stay there because it's our only source of revenue, by the way. But I started posting over here at Parler, which is an alternative to Facebook, and it has a long way to go. But come over here and support the channel and start getting some uncensored stuff sent your way. We're also over on Rumble, which is the same as YouTube. It's just videos that are uncensored, and we have some extra activity over there that we can't put up on YouTube at all. No questions. Also at BitChute. Please subscribe to the Oppenheimer Ranch. Give us support over here. Make us look like we're important or people care. Also, we are listed on Library. And all of this is listed below the video in the description box. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of the video. A lot to talk about. And as we get into 2021 and these record snows continue to fall, and we report on it, the paradigm is shifting. We started feeling it a few years ago, but over 60% of the population does not even care about the word global warming anymore, let alone climate change. I think they're onto the ruse because they're digging out their cars daily. We love each and every one of you. Thanks to our one-time donors, our new Patreons, everyone that's kicked it up a notch. We love you. Subscribe to Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And all the videos I put on all those 7 platforms all go on Patreon. Someone's calling. I got to get that. Be safe. We love you. And that's a boom.